So the other day I got an email from one of you guys, and honestly, thank you first of all for getting in contact because you raised a good point and a great question that I felt like I didn't want to answer it via email by text because it wouldn't really have done it justice. But I wanted to make a video specifically on this topic because I don't think I've really covered it. To read it, I'm someone who's recently returned to football after 3 years and made the reserve team for a semi-professional club in Australia. First of all, that's actually incredible to be a semi-professional footballer, or at least get into a club, is actually a very good achievement. You know, it's not an easy sport, and it's an extremely competitive sport. So fair enough. By the way, this guy's called Tim, so thank you very much, Tim, for always watching my content and then engaging and sending this email. So it's been about 2 months since I've returned, and we're now in pre-season, with the season beginning in late February. My question is, how do I cope with the pressure of teammates, coaches, and others? I feel like I have a huge pressure on my shoulders, and as a centre back just returning from a long break, I feel like my role is arguably the most crucial in my team. And rightly so. I think being a centre back is not easy. For those people that know football, there's two centre backs in each team playing at the same time. You can sometimes have three, but it's a very crucial role because you're there to protect the goal from the other team scoring, I guess. I'm just trying to play my game and improve each day, but as the season approaches, the pressure is piling on more and more. Thanks for what you do on YouTube. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate you getting in contact. So that's a very good question. And I don't think I've really covered it or just shared my opinion on it, to be honest, before. I think, so to really give you some context, the way I kind of perceive and view stress and pressure now is very different to how I would have viewed it about 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. Before, I used to really think that, you know, you shouldn't really live life with stress, or basically I had a negative connotation when it came to the word stress, its meaning, and just how I perceived it in general. Like, I just thought it's a negative word. And therefore, because around me it was quite a negative feeling towards the word stress. And when you think of stress, or at least when I thought of stress, I just think of discomfort, in a state of not relaxed at all. Obviously, is the opposite of being relaxed, but in a state of just like too much, to the point where you're kind of like a breaking point. So when you have these kind of perceived values of stress, then I felt like whenever I felt stressed or pressure in any form, whether it be like maybe a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, I would, because I already had this negativity towards it, I would have an overall negative experience, and it would kind of take away from my potential or my power. Now my frame of mind has significantly shifted, and it's changed to the point where if I believe that stress is bad for me, then that's what's going to happen. That's the outcome for me. If I believe that, you know, if I get stressed in a situation and I believe, because stress for me is a word that is bad, then of course associate it with anything. You know, let's say whether that be work, whether that be if you were studying, if that would even be, obviously in this case, playing football, then I would have a negative experience, a negative outcome, whichever activity or thing I'm doing, because I believe stress is that bad, because it's taken away the power from me. But my frame of mind has shifted to the point where now I believe that it's not the actual thing, it's not the actual stress or the pressure that's bad, it's the way you think, the way you perceive it, right? Now, if I go into the frame of mind where stress is needed I feel good when I feel stressed. I feel like I'm at my best, and I feel powerful. I feel whenever I feel stressed, I feel like I can get things done. I feel extremely productive. I feel like it just pushes me, and it just makes me better at what I'm going to be doing. Then my outcome changes because my frame of mind changes. Now I view stress as a positive thing. It's a driver. It's a driving force. And with stress, right? If you look at the most successful people in the world, right? Not just the most successful people in the world, but if you just look at successful people wherever you go, wherever field you're in, they all carry stress, all right? At some form, at some level, they carry stress. And the higher up you go, the more stressful you get. You take a company, for example, right? I work in a company, and the higher up you go, this applies to anything, any company, right? The higher up you go, the more responsibilities you have, the more things you have to manage. And because there's more responsibilities, the more stress that you take on, right? It's natural. Um, Even in a school situation, as a student, of course, you feel stressed because you've got exams, and let's say the more exams you do, or not even the more, but the more content and more things that you have to take on, I guess the more stress you feel. And then if you take that up a notch, of course, as you grow, as in, let's say in year 7 versus year 11, you feel a different type of stress, right? Because in year 11, you actually have real exams. I'm not saying it being in a year 7 situation that you're not having real exams, but you don't have nearly as level of stress in an exam situation. And then if you take it up a notch in year 13, or when you do your A levels, or if you go into university, you've got other exams. So it just gets, in terms of an exam context, you just get more stressed. But it's your ability to handle that stress that really differentiates you from your potential success. And if you view success as something, as an not an anchor, but something that would just add fuel to your flame, to your engine, to the point where you can smoothly drive, you can smoothly operate, or at least because your productivity increases, right? And then your confidence increases because your productivity and your output is there. Now that's the same thing with your football situation, where you feel the stress from your coaches, your teammates, and things around you, but even yourself, because you've not been playing football. So that's another thing, because you've not been playing football for a while, right? Of course, maybe the confidence isn't there just because you're not playing, or you weren't playing week in, week out. You weren't training every day, um, but that's just natural. Your confidence isn't going to be sky high, but to gain that confidence, you got to start to do the work, and to do the work, you got to be disciplined, but also stress can help you do the work because it's just adding more fuel to you. So therefore more output, therefore more work and more confidence. It just works. So you got to use stress as actually an opportunity of growth. That's what I think. If you use it in a positive frame of mind, honestly, it can be an extremely powerful tool. That's what I do. Like, at least, like, I completely believe in it. I completely believe that stress is something that's necessary. Stress is something that I want, and whenever I feel stress, I feel at my best. And I invite stress to come my way because I know good things are happening, and everything happens for a reason, right? So, like, you're going to be back in playing football as a centre back. That is very stressful anyway, but you're going to be playing football back in the team, even though you've been out. So you've got some level of trust from your teammates, your manager, your coach. Use that. Build the confidence. Use the stress.